Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just Whether I am playing Final Fantasy XIV. Man, last episode we finished off A Realm Reborn and looked at the magnificent CGI opening of Heavensward. And in this episode we're going to go and start Heavensward. The idea that I have right now, by the way, people, is that I will start Heavensward. And the first thing we're going to do is unlock the 3 jobs that are over there and level them up to level 50. The jobs that you get over there, they start at level 30. So we're gonna have to spend a little bit of a grinding time, I guess, before we actually start Heavensward. Because by the time that they reach level 50, then I also want to do the first job quest of every of the other jobs that I have. So we're gonna be busy for a little bit before we actually really jump into the story of Heavensward. Anyway, the idea also is that I'm going to be leveling up the Heavensward jobs while going through Heavensward. That is, I think, primarily the idea. I'll be using the main quest to level myself up for the most part. What in God's name? Anyway, let's begin. My cat is doing such things. Coming to Ishgard. I think this is voiced.
The dawn's light will shine again.
With the new voice actor, by the way.
So long as we have these specious accusations hanging over us, we will struggle to achieve anything. You must go to Ishgard, as Tataru proposed. I will return to Uldar and set things right.
Pray, do not be so hasty, Master Alphino.
Lord Orchefon.
Full well do I understand your desire to clear your names. But now is not the time for drastic action. You yet have allies upon whom you can rely. There is no need to act alone.
Yes. Yes, of course. Pray forgive my impatience.
I bring tidings. Count Edmond has decreed that the 3 of you be taken in as wards of House Fortan. Under our patronage, you shall be granted access to the city proper. Pray, consider our manor your new headquarters, from which you may gather information and plan how best to proceed. Needless to say, should any of your missing allies be found, as I am certain they shall, they will of course be welcome to join you there.
Meanwhile, you can just hear my cat doing random shit.
You are more than generous, my friend. On behalf of my fellows, I humbly accept your offer of hospitality.
The Count is a good man, and just. He will treat you with the kindness and respect that a hero and dear friend deserves.
To Ishgard, then. Together. There we shall carry on the Scion's legacy. There we shall begin anew.
Here, here!
I must go ahead and speak with the Count. Fear not, however, for everything has been arranged. The sentries at the gates of judgment have been informed of our decision. You need but state your names and they will allow you to pass. My manservant shall be waiting for you at the city gates, ready to escort you to our manor, where we shall meet again. Until then. Alright. Off we go. To Ishgard. Ishgard. Whenever I hear like Ish, I have to think of like, this is such a wild freaking reference. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like certain enemies that you hit, like their sound of pain, it's like Ish. But it just like, it keeps spamming, it's like Ish, 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 Ish. It's quite funny. Anyway. Wards of House Fortant. Ah, yes, you may pass. Proceed. To Ishgard. That's the final time I'm making that joke. Or maybe not.
And so they came, at a friend's behest. Heroes once celebrated as saviors of Eorzea, brought low through treachery, their names blackened with royal blood. With memories of the lost and dreams of redemption, with hope yet in their hearts, they came.
Sorry. I will explain something in a hot minute. I think there may be another cutscene now. Oh.
To Ishgard, shining city on the mount, overlooking the dominion of Kurthus. A great and proud nation, devoted to Halone, the Fury, ruled by Thordan VII, Archbishop of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. The last bastion of the faith, her walls ever bristling with the sworn swords and spears of her 4 high houses. A land that after 1,000 years of war had forgotten what it was to be at peace. Through gates long closed, the warrior of light and her companions passed, entering at last a city whose history was written in blood. In the midst of the Dragonsong War they came, 3 weary travelers whose arrival would set in motion great change. Though none knew then how great.
From the memoirs of Count Edmond de Forton, Heavensward. Oh. This expansion definitely has a special place in my heart. My heart. Anyway, welcome to Ishgard. Greetings, Mr. Sladair. On behalf of House Fortant, I bid you welcome to Ishgard. My lord humbly requests your presence at his residence in the Pillars, if you would, all would come with me. Anyway, the thing that I was laughing at before is quite an interesting little thing in this expansion. So one of the things that they do. So every single area is gonna get an introduction. It's maybe like slight spoiler, I guess. I don't know. Every area in this game is gonna have a introduction. And it always ends with "they came," and that has just become like a joke in our static. And whenever it happens, I have to chuckle because I'm a 12-year-old who laughs at sex jokes, because that is basically what it is. Anyway, kid-friendly over here, of course. We get to do our first thing in basically any town, and that is get the Aetherites. It's especially the ones that like are near these, well, near this one over here, Skysteel Manufactory. Let's see, and then the... I think I may need to do more, or is that in the pillars? Jesus Christ. This is the only expansion that does this, by the way, where it locks the job unlocking quests behind the gates of like the main city or whatever, like the beginning of the expansion. In any later version, like in any later expansion, we're just gonna be able to get these before needing to actually start the expansion, which I honestly appreciate. There we go. Meantime, we get to listen to this beautiful music. At least for a little bit, because once we go to the pillars, there's a different song. Spoilers! Oh my god! Right, and then we have the shopping district, the Jeweled Crozier. With a slightly different rendition of the Heavensward theme. Bum bum bum. Bum. Bum bum bum. I remember spending a lot of time around here, actually. But I think I've like spent a lot of time in basically every main city in every expansion, I would say. Just because like this would be like the areas where we just hang around when I'm waiting for queues to pop. Or when we are gathering the lads for some raiding. Some raiding. This is always like a little bit of a tedious thing to do, I suppose. But at the same time, it allows you to like run around the city and check out some of the sites. Once again, one thing that will like remain identical to the place of a Realm Reborn is where I'm going to be doing basically all of the side quests when I am done with the base story. So once we are done with the base story of Heavensward, then we're going to clean up like all of the side quests that I can. I was originally thinking about maybe like doing side quests to level up while I'm going through the expansion, but I am a little bit unsure about that one. Also, can I even get like... I haven't spent time in Ishgard in a long time, so I don't really remember my way around. Yeah, no, I can't. Anyway. I was thinking about originally doing that, just using the side quest to level myself up, which is technically possible. But I feel like that would just really overthrow the usual way that I go about this. This playthrough, or just let's play, or whatever, this video series. So in the end, it is quite simple, my friends. We're gonna play this almost identically to how we played A Realm Reborn. However, this time I'm going to unlock and level up the jobs before I begin the expansion. But well, yeah, now I can. Before I could. Just one more. I don't really remember how long like how much story there even is. I think from this point onward, you're gonna hate me for this. Like, some people are gonna fucking despise me for this. But from this point onward, I kind of started to skip the job quest storylines, because I wasn't that interested anymore. But I, in general, wasn't very interested in, like, reading a lot of things back then. There we go. Let us begin with the first one. That is literally just the closest one near me. It's not particularly the first one, but is there even a first one? Anyway. Hello. Greetings and welcome to the Asthenium Athenaeum Astrologicum. Wow. Perhaps you were drawn by fate to this place of learning, or perhaps you wish to know more of fate itself. Yes. Then you were wise to come hither, for in the stars are written the fates of every woman and man on Hydaelyn. It was there in the stars that I read a woman would call upon the Athenaeum this very day, a woman who would play an important role in my own life. Ah, but my apologies. Even the most skilled reader cannot scry a name from the heavens. Would you be so kind as to give me yours, so that I might know who is to be my newest protege? Lynn, well, I was not expecting that, but what is a name but an attempt by our begetters to wield power over the lives of their sons and daughters? Lives whose paths have already been foretold, in a sense, that is. My name is Jenekinar the Jurandere, and I am an astrologian for the Holy See. Remember that name, for it will echo forevermore in the annals of Ishgardian history. Well, it will once I put it in there. Or once I put it there, whatever. Once we put it there. Okay. Now, where to begin? I suppose I could consult my divining deck for an answer, but that would be too easy now, wouldn't it? Very well. At the beginning, it is. Astrology, or reading of the stars, is a branch of ethereological science which originated in distant Sharlayan. There have been astrologians in Ishgard for thousands of years, but it wasn't until 3 centuries ago, when Audinal the Younger learned that the movements of the stars could also be used to foresee the movements of the Dravanian horde, that the field became popular. Since then, what was once a single science has bifurcated into 2 similar yet ultimately different schools of learning. The Sharlayan school of astrology and the Ishgardian school. The former placing a focus on tapping celestial ether and transforming it into beneficial magics, or astromancy. The latter specializes solely in determining the actions of our dragon enemies to the north. I am a student of the former, the only student of the former here in Ishgard, and have been actively searching a partner with whom to conduct my research. Let us just say that my fellow astrologians here have been less than approving of my path, but that is simply because they are afraid of what they do not know. Once they do know of how Sharlayan astrology can benefit the sea and its soldiers, they will feel foolish for ever having doubted me. Us. You will be joining me, will you not? Walking the path that has been laid out before you, instead of stubbornly denying your fate, postponing the inevitable. I see you wasted no time making your decision. Like I always say, the stars are never wrong. Alas, even a lifetime of study and training cannot unlock all the secrets written in those stars. Myself, I have been a student of the astromantic arts for more summers than I can count, and I still oft misread the signs shown to me in the skies. Though my readings are far more accurate now than they were when I attended the Athenaeum in Sharlayan, not the Sharlayan, mind you, the colony that once thrived in the Dravanian hinterlands. I can recall my time there like it was yesterday. But yesterday. The first 6 moons I was not even allowed to touch the deck of 60, let alone conduct a reading with the major arcana. Most of my time was spent in the scriptomium describing old tomes on astrological fundamentals such as the 6 elemental houses. Divine duplicity, class triplicity, house modality, and polarity, dignity versus detriment. I abhorred the task, and would tirelessly pester my instructors as to when I might actually be granted the opportunity to weave a spell or perform a reading. It wasn't until the end of the 6th moon that I realized all that transcribing had prepared me with the essentials I would need to do those very things. Sorry, I was confused, like I was distracted by a message. The positions of the celestial bodies within the 6 elemental houses and their relations to the major and minor arcana of the deck of 60, therein lie the secrets to tapping the ethereal power locked in the heavens. And soon you too will become privy to these secrets. But not this day, no. I would not have you transcribe musty old tomes like I was once forced to do. No, the task I have for you is much more interesting. You see, I'm expecting the arrival of a very important guest. My old mentor from the studium has agreed to make the journey from the old world to Ishgard, and speak with the Holy See regarding the implementation of Sharlayan astrological techniques in city-state defense. Alas, the professor and his party are now fully 7 days late in arriving, and I have begun to worry for their safety. I would be much obliged, therefore, if you would inquire of the other astrologians here at the Athenaeum, if they have heard aught. if they've heard of whatever. Man, I can't read anymore. Why would Lord Jenikinar think that I had information on the whereabouts of a handful of unbelievers from across the blood-brine sea? I'm an astrologian, not a fortune teller. I cannot simply look to the stars and scry the location of the Viscount's guests, unless his guests are dragons, that is. I suppose if anyone knew aught, it would be the observatorium. We here at the Athenaeum are but students dedicated to research. Those with any influence in our field are assigned to the astroscope. Let me guess, the good Lord Jenikinar, Jesus, said he saw you in a vision and that the stars told him that you were to study Shardian astrology with him. Am I close? It must be the 100th of his little pest that pester me this week alone. I harbor no ill will towards ignorant unbelievers unlucky enough to find themselves caught up in talk of stars and fortunes, but you may tell that sorry excuse for an astrologian for the umpteenth time that I have heard naught concerning his imaginary friends from faraway Sharlian. Just do not tell the Viscount I call them a sorry excuse for an astrologian, alright. Jenikinar is still waiting for word on his missing Sharlians instead of actually making an effort to find them, is he? Of course he is. Is it any wonder that in the nearly 15 years since his return from Shardian, his skill in astronomy has remained unchanged? Any wonder that he has never yet managed to convince a single peer of the value of the Shardian school? He is a privileged little sprat who spends more time gazing at the stars in young maidens' eyes than actually trying to read the ones above his head. Alright. You tell the poor man I just returned from the observatorium and one night at the communal feasting hall happened to overhear Chief Astrologian Forlamont speaking with one of his aides regarding Shardian. He was visibly upset, and I wasn't about to risk my career over something I care little about, so I merely put my head down and ate my beet soup. But that is all I know, and you did not hear it from me. Master Forlamont, and I thought this day could not get any worse. Well, oh, no. I'm not suggesting that meeting you in any way has been unfortunate. It is just it may not be in our best interest to be seen together as of yet. There are certain people in the sea who do not approve of my studies. Couple that with the fact that you are an outsider and an unbeliever, and, well, people may come to the wrong conclusions. We must act with caution until we can prove that our intentions are just and for the good of all of Ishgard. So, I must ask you to travel to the observatorium alone and meet me there. Alright. Off we go. I just noticed the freaking quest name. Took me quite a long time. Stairway to Heaven. I've not heard that song in a little bit, so I can't really remember how it goes. Which is kind of interesting because I love that song. I love refrigerators. I do. Without a refrigerator, I would have... well, I wouldn't be able to preserve my food. Let's go and disable enable, disable enable text. What? Disable auto play. Ah, Lynn, allow me to apologize again for not accompanying you here. As for our business with the chief astrologian, you may leave the talking to me. Ah, Jenikinar, I might have known it would be you. Who else would be so indecent as to drag an outsider into this holy place of observation? You have always had an unhealthy obsession with the foreign. 'Tis why you are as worthless as to the Athenaeum now as you were, Jesus, when you returned from that heathen city a decade and a half since. But the stars, they can serve us in other ways than merely revealing when the Horde will attack. Their powers can be tapped. The ether within can be used for... The ether should be left be. Has history taught you not about the folly of the Nimians, the Amdapori, the Maki? Mine uncle, the Sharlians have been wielding astromancy for ages without disrupting ethereal balance. This power, combined with Ishgardian astrology, could be what is needed to turn the tide of this 1,000-year conflict. Moreover, I have reason to believe that our masters at the Vault agree, as they have given me their blessing to continue my research. I did not come to trade barbs with you, Nuncle. Let us save that for another time. I am here because it has come to my attention that you may have information as to the whereabouts of Professor Mace and his party from Sharlayan. For someone who says he is not here to trade barbs, you have been quite generous in your dealings of them today. If it means you will leave and allow me to return to my work, then I'd be more than happy to let you know what information found its way to my desk just yesterday morning. Serpent Reaver sightings and foul weather prevented the professor's ship from entering the Strait of Merthyr, where they would have made their way up the Maiden and into Curtis. After detouring around the south of Vilbrant, they finally disembarked at Vesper Bay, where they took the land route along the Royal Allegan Sunway to the Black Shroud. It is there, it seems, they lost their way. A lost astrologian, haha. It is as my morning reading predicted. Dalamut was in detriment in the House of the Spire while ascending over the ecliptic. Lyn, you must journey to the Black Shroud and assist Professor Mace. Allow me to introduce you to Quimperane. Quimperane? Sure. He is my personal manservant and shall accompany you. He is not one for conversation, but his sword arm is strong, is amongst the best in all of the pillar. Like in all the pillars, whatever, man, Jesus. He should see you safe if any danger were to befall you. And something tells me danger lurks on the horizon. Uncle shrug. It is a pleasure to serve you, my lady. I shall make haste to Corrymill and await you there. I figure. Good old quarry mill. Where the portal to hell resides. Anyway, milady, I have questioned the residents of this hamlet, and learned that a party of queerly dressed outsiders passed through but not about a bell ago. It should not prove overly difficult to find them now, but before we begin, might I ask a moment of your time? I would not dare utter aught ill of my master, but his recent fixation with finding a protege, I believe it ill-considered. This passion, however pure, has left him with more than one enemy within the astrological community. Lord Forlamont has seen to this. I fear not only for his own. I fear not only for how his name might be sullied, but for his life. I beg of you, pray, do not drag him any further down into this quagmire. Let him quietly dabble in his dream, but let it remain a dream. No good will come of encouraging him. It will only hurt the Viscount and his family. You must remember that while I serve Lord Janequinar, it is his uncle, the Count, who employs me. Now, as for the task at hand, I suggest we find the wayward travelers and hurry back to our respective hearths. I shall lead. Might I ask you to take the rear and see that none might take us unawares? Boing. These are the Sharlayans we seek, and it appears they have found themselves in some trouble. And hand my grandfather. Ah, feisty, we'll catch a fine price for that one. From the pleasure barge captains? Wait, what? From the pleasure barge captains? Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, I see. Oh god. Jesus. The soul has spoken. Grab the old man. These wizard types carry on them all manner of begemmed baubles and golden trinkets. Up, or I'll toss you to the snakes. You want to see the old man again? You leave us the girl. Try anything and he's dead. Wait! Grandfather's soul crystal. Why would he leave it here? Surrendering any power he might have to free himself from those bandits. Unless you were the one he saw in his reading before we left the old world. But that was more than a moon ago. My grandfather scried from the cards that he would serve as the bridge for countless souls to be passed to another. Might you be that other? These men of the forest are careless. Tracking them will be no difficult feat. I shall follow and strike before they have the time to regroup in numbers. The stars have spoken, and laid their path not before you, but before the adventurer here. You must take the soul of the astrologian and place it near your heart. Listen to the tales of those who walked before you, and know their journey as you do your own. As for the tools you require and the knowledge needed to wield them, I, Leviva, sure, shall see to those matters. You said there was no fear in my grandfather's eyes when the bandits took him. This is because he has seen you come to his rescue. Our lives were written in the stars long before we trod upon this land. It is not by chance that you stand here today with the soul of the astrologian in your hand. It is fate. Alright. Complete. Astrologian unlocked. So we can now equip this. The thing is automatically going with it. This gear technically too, but I have better gear. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm gonna be right back, my friends. Alright, so, some inventory shenanigans later. I still have a couple of things that I can't even fit inside my armor chest. I still held on to like everything, every piece of dungeon gear from like between 30 and 50 for this moment. Anyway, Leviva. Now listen carefully, for you haven't much time. The star globe which you hold is both your sword and shield. It will grant you strength as well as protection. But most important of all, it will grant you insight into the current location of the stars, enabling you to channel the heavens' ether into your body for use in all manner of magics. The better attuned you become with the heavens and their malefic and benefic bodies, the better that ether might be manipulated to bring succor or pain. But as you already know, the star globe is not the only tool an astromancer, I still don't know how to say that. Astromancer, I guess, is at her disposal. Yes, the arcana, or more specifically the 6 major arcana, play a defining role in what type of astrologian you will become. Any layman will tell you that the cards can predict a man's future. This is both true and untrue. It is not the future that a card predicts, but the card influencing the man so that a certain future becomes more attainable. Seeking to tell a man's fortune, you draw a card from your deck. Upon reading the card, you scry that the man will be victorious in the coming battle. What is it that brings this man his victory, but ether tapped from one of the lower 6 heavens, granting the man strength, making it all that much easier for him to overcome his enemy? Of course, what card is drawn is linked directly to a target's destiny, as well as yours. Are you the one who will see this man to fortune, or will you lead him to downfall? It all depends on your reading. Normally, I would not dare cover so much in the first lesson, but it is my grandfather who has placed his life in your hands, and I am not about to watch him have his throat slit because you cannot tell the face of an arcana from its back. We have 2 seemingly capable soldiers here to take the brunt of the bandits' blows. Allow them to carve a trail of carnage while you convince the stars to nudge the 2 in a direction favorable to my kin. I understand this must be a lot to digest, but if you are ever to become a capable astrologian, you must believe in the path I laid out before you. And in your power to read it, follow it, and ultimately control it. Take some time to acclimate yourself to your new abilities, and let me know when you are ready to begin. Right. So, how does astrologian work? Well, my friends, at this level you have combust, which is your damage over time, your dot. It deals unaspected damage over time with a potency of 40, so it doesn't do like an initial hit. One thing that like Arrow does with White Mage is that it does damage and then it also does damage over time. While, for instance, Bio and Combust and Astrologian don't have that effect. So you can't really like, if you need to like bonk an enemy to make it blow up or whatever for some kind of a reason, then you can't do that with Combust with Astrologian. Anyway, other than that, we have Malefic, which is just your normal casting, like your just normal attacking spell. Benefic, which is your normal healing spell, is basically your Cure 1 variant. And then you have Benefic 2, which is your Cure 2 variant. Then you have Essential Dignity, which restores HP, target's HP. With a cure potency of 400, is an insta-cast, an off global cooldown one too, so you can just like weave it in with whatever the hell else you want as a recast time of 40 seconds. And a potency is increased up to 900 as the target's HP decreases, reaching its maximum value when the target has 30 HP or less. So this kind of promotes you to let your tank be on lower health. I also just remembered a tiny little thing that I'm going to change. There we go. Then Helios is your AoE healing spell. Then Ascent is your res spell. Also, of course, you have Swiftcast, you have Esuna and Lucid Dreaming, the usual. And then you also have Lightspeed, which reduces cast time for spells by 2.5 seconds. This can be very useful, but I've honestly not used it that much. Probably not as much as I should. But I'm not a hero main, so yeah. I can't really like give good advice on how to play Astrologian or how it works because, well, I can tell you how it works, but I can't like say like, oh, this is really important. You can do these little things. I don't have enough experience with Astrologian for that. Anyway, other than that, you have your draw ability. Draws a card or Arcanum from your Divining deck. Only one Arcanum can be drawn at a time. Arcanum effects can be triggered using the action play, or the action play. Additional effect is that it restores 5% of your maximum MP as a 30-second recast time. So, let me go and draw a card. The one we get is Bowl. Increases damage dealt by a party member or self by 6% if target is a ranged DPS or healer, or 3% for all other roles. So, this is the interesting part, and this is actually the part of this job that you're going to have to learn. Like, you're just going to have to learn out of your head how it works. You have the balance, the arrow, and the spear, which is for melee DPS or tanks. And then you have ball, ewer, and spire for ranged DPS. This also counts magical ranged DPS. Just in general, ranged DPS, so either casters or physical ranged, and healers. But you usually use these on a DPS. You don't really use them on yourself that much. So the idea is that like while you're doing all this other stuff, you want to keep this stuff up because it not only gives you a buff depending on, well, it's going to give you a buff regardless of who you give it to, but it's going to give like a bigger buff if you give it to the correct person. Regardless of that, it will also restore some of your MP. So like 500 MP for drawing a card. You might think like that doesn't seem that much. Sure, it's not that much, but at the same time, it can definitely help. There's also this ability over here, which is Undraw, which returns the currently drawn Arcanum back to your deck, which just like removes whatever the hell you have. But I really see no reason to remove a card. But that's me. I don't know the specifics. I don't know like any crazy things you can do with Astrologian. So yeah. Anyway, after that little tutorial, let's go and begin. I see in your eyes that you are ready. Whether that actually makes you ready or not, only time will tell. Time, unfortunately, is something we no longer have in abundance. Let us take to the shadows and find out where these bandits are holding my grandfather. May the stars be your guide. Alright. Do not let these bandits stand in the way of locating my grandfather. Do they automatically walk? They do. They walk in. We're going to give this to myself, and we're going to give one of those to you. And then we just keep casting Malefic. I could also use Combust, but like a lot of the enemies just die way too fast for Malefic, for Combust to really do that much. There we go. Oh yeah, I dropped something. This is a card from my grandfather's deck. He's leaving us a trail to follow. Its power is now your own. So get the balance. Your star is in dignity with the balance. There's 6 major arcana. We must find the other cars. Cars? Cards. We must find the other cars. Anyway, I also got a damage increase myself. I cannot give it to Lviv, so I'll just give it to you. Man, these guys are tanking really well, aren't they? Also, there's a healer over there. Didn't you even notice that? Let's try and heal you, boy. The thing that I usually do is just like I draw and use cards in between my casting. Usually. That's there's another card over here. No. You bitch. I just keep getting magic cards. It's really annoying. Anyway. Let us get the arrow. As we just get another stack. Go and get this guy. I'm not sure if you need all the cards. That one I do not remember. But it will definitely help. For it will give you a buff. There we go. More power! Even more power! I wanted to go to my party window, but it didn't exist. That's quite a funny little situation. I was about to say, goddamn healers, looks at himself. What is this thaumaturge doing? He's just standing there. I think he's broken. Let me go and get you. Yeah, got it with that. Sag. Got. Ba-da-bop. Ba-da-ba-da-pop-pop. And there we go. We have all of the cards now. Give me the power! Let's try and give myself that buff. And just give the other dude this stuff. I think he has a buff now, yeah. It's very interesting though, because like this bandit leader over here fights like the old summoners. Like how summoner used to work, which is very interesting to me. Because you know what, now I'm thinking about it, like, I keep forgetting this, but I haven't, I didn't have Summoner unlocked when it was still the old version, but I did start playing the game when Summoner still had its older version. Also going to use Essential Dagger too. There we go. Summoner dies, and the summons go with him. I was not told there would be two astrologians. Enough of this. I'm Quimperane. Quimperane? I hate that name. In the employ of Lord Jenakinar. I am sent to escort you back to Ishgard. Are you unhurt, my lord? Jenakinar, you say? And where is my former student? His constant pestering is one of the reasons I agreed to make the long trip from the old world. I see none but Quimperane and this adventurer. I, too, have seen no other. Just like you didn't see those bandits into their knives swept up our arses, but that is of no matter. It was all as the stars had foretold. Hello. Yes, I saw this adventurer long before ever setting foot on this accursed continent when the Arcana whispered and told me I would find a worthy successor for my soul crystal. And having witnessed how she eased into her new role, but mere moments after taking up the crystal, globe, and deck. Yes, I knew at once my reading was true, and that this adventurer was the astrologian I had been seeking. But now, let us see if she has the potential for greatness within her. Another cutscene. Look to the skies, Lyn, and there you will see 6 stars aglow in pale yellow. This is the bowl. This constellation is thought to be the gate to the first heaven. The heaven which holds the world tree, planted by the matron and nurtured by the keeper. The world tree is the source from which all life is said to have sprung. The trunk of the world tree, or the bowl, grants strength to the weak, allowing them to stand firm in the face of adversity. You have now opened that gate, and its power is yours to command. A solid bowl represents a solid foundation. It is not coincidence that this very constellation is arisen to mid-heaven at this very moment. The moment of a new astrologian's birth. And to think I saw all of this a moon ago. It seems I'm a better reader of the fates than I thought. Haha! But I jest. It has been a long journey, with more than its share of unexpected excitement. I'm an old man, and one does not need a deck of Arcana to see that my weary legs will not carry me much longer. Let us make haste to Ishgard, so that I may give that ungrateful Jenakinar a proper upbraiding. Smile. Yes, punish him. Lyn agrees with the punishing. The Ballblazer then welcome, unlocking the gate of something. Right. Let us go and finish this quest. And then that's gonna be the end of the episode. So in the next episode we'll go and unlock another one. Yeah! Also, the night version of the song is so good, has so much emotion. But you don't get to listen to it because this song is different. For some reason. Jenakinar, 15 summers passed, and still the flippant clod I lost half my hair tutoring. Studying an adventurer to find the man you summoned halfway across Hydaelyn. Always taking the easy route, and you wonder why you still haven't been able to open the second heaven's gate. Allow me to explain, Professor. You see, I was waiting here in case you made it to Ishgard before my manservant and Lyn could locate you. Think of the confusion had you arrived here only to find the Athenaeum empty. Wait, How did you know I haven't opened all the gates? My grandfather is the greatest astrologian in all Sharian. There's naught he doesn't know, unless he doesn't wish to know it. You of all people should know that. Perhaps I was hasty in my decision to remain here and see to your training. Train me? You? But what of Professor Mace? Isn't that why he made the journey? My grandfather has already completed his task. He simply came to Ishgard out of courtesy to an old pupil, one who he wasted years on. Wasted? What are you implying, my lady? Ah, my dear Laviva. You still do not see, do you? Without Janikinard stumbling into my tutelage nearly 2 decades past. He never would have taken this adventurer under his wing and sent her to us in his stead. It was all as the stars had planned. Your soul crystal, Professor. This adventurer has stolen your soul of the astrologian. Ever the unobservant, Jan. If this adventurer had stolen my crystal, Aviva would have read up some terrible fate for the lass. No, Lynn is my successor. Something I mistakenly thought you might be, but even I cannot see every future, it seems. But do not despair, I have not given up on you completely. Despite your failings, you have tried your best to promote the Shardian school of astrology here in this den of fools who fail to see aught and all beyond the Dragon Star. I wish to see you continue that fight, and that is why I've bade Laviva to remain here and further your and this adventurer's training. I see. This is all rather overwhelming. Might I have some time to consider your words? Now you either continue your training with me and your, protégé, or you crawl back to obscurity. I shall give you both several turns of the sun to study the basics of Shardian astrology. It should not be so hard for you, Janikinar, considering you've had a substantial head start. Once you have committed the basics to memory, then return here. In the meantime, I will be traveling a Eorzea, searching for locations where Lynn and you will unlock the remaining Heaven's Gates. But you were only recently set upon by bandits. Perhaps traveling alone so soon is unwise. Don't you think I know that? That is why you will be lending me the services of your able manservant, Quimperain. I will? I will. Yes, of course, Lady Laviva. Anything for the granddaughter of Shardian's finest professor of astrology, Quimperain. Quimperain, you heard the lady. Very good, I shall see my grandfather to the airship landing now, but rest assured that if you neglect your studies, I will know. Comprita. Alright, and now the next one we can get at level 35. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode of just us playing Final Fantasy XIV. And the next episode we're gonna go and... I'm kind of wondering though, how am I gonna do this exactly? How did I do it last time? Right, I grinded to level 30, or like to the next tier. And then I did the next... yeah, okay. Sorry. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next episode where we're gonna go and unlock the next job. Goodbye.